ugly stuff while we're waiting. I'll go through this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It's 5 o'clock. I'm going to call the Public Works Committee session. Chad, I'm going to come up and talk about the community crossings and some streets we've got. Want to look at for this second part of this.
Due to the changes in the state, we're only eligible for 1 million this year, we're supposed to get 1.5, actually we're gonna we have to do it in October this year for the following season. The last few years, there were 2 big processes, early on and one in the summer, but after this, it's just gonna be once a year again. So I went through, you have a list of all the streets, or most, well, I can tell you which ones are clear and which ones still have some cuts on them. But I talked with Randy Jackson, utilities, he prioritized, and all the cuts will be finished before they start paving. So that won't be a problem. I want to risk water line replacement.
What timeline are we thinking on these? Is like next summer? Or?
Yeah, it'll be next summer.
Okay.
The ones from this year got postponed. I spoke to when the plant opens, like April 20th till the beginning of June. They'll finish those and then they'll start on those. So it'll be after, let's see, after the beginning of June.
You know when they'll have a decision on these grants?
Could be at the end of this month, right?
No, you have to have it put in by the end of the
Oh,
month,
yeah.
but do you know when they'll decide?
I don't know when. Do you know?
I would guess January, February, like it's.
First of the year
it's an amount of
sometime.
time, yeah.
Are most of these, in your master plan, are most of these coded to reflect how bad they are? Or,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these are some of the worst of the worst.
Yes, I could give you the numbers, like Lafayette Drive, they're all 3s. Walnut Avenue is only a 2. That section of George Street, they're both 3s. West Wabash Avenue is terrible, it's also 2s. Jackson is 3s and 2s, and there was a major service line cut there from one end to the other. Holland, 3-3, 3-2. Hannah is a 2 and a 3. West Roseland, 2-3-3. Clifton Avenue is mostly 4s. There's a 3 in there and a 5. But I think that might not include all of the big dig that they did on Clifton. If they reevaluate, I think those 4s would all be lower. Wilkinson, mostly 2s, 3s, 4s. West Melbourne is terrible, it's all 2s. Ottawa is a 2. Astor is a 1, a 1, and a 3.
Oh, gee.
Daisy it's 4 2s and 2 3s, and Court Street is a 2. So yeah, they're all very good condition.
The only thing I wondered about on here, I like the list. I mean, they look like, I had to know them all offhand, but most of them look pretty, of course, most of our streets do look bad right now, no fault of our own, but I was concerned about West Wabash with all that's going on out there at the wastewater treatment plant. Have you talked to Greg about what's going to be going up and down that road? And
Well, the section we're doing, we're only doing the east side of West Wabash, Dave.
Oh, you're only doing, you're doing Psychic.
Between Second Street.
Oh, to the railroad,
Yeah,
okay,
towards that
okay,
Forest Planters.
okay,
So that would be.
yeah. Okay, I didn't see that, I looked right past it, thank you.
Sure.
But,
The estimate, when I calculated, I was at $2,055,000, and then Central Paving came in at $1,932,000, so I was pleasantly surprised for it.
So we'll take their number. So we'll take their number.
that's a pretty good estimate, no.
Well, I based it off of square footage and one of the cuts that are, ones that are going to be paid this year.
Mm-hmm,
There's a formula that you can use, but I don't think it's as accurate as just using the last year's per square foot.
yeah,
It's pretty accurate unless you have to have a spot that's going to have traffic loops put in, with street lights, then that's correct.
okay.
Question?
These will all be done when? Beginning of the year?
It's supposed to be done, well, by the end of next year.
Okay.
I would say this year in the contract, it was vague. There was really no specific timeline. I mean, if you read that contract, and I didn't see the contract before it was signed by Kurt and the mayor. Really, there's no timeline whatsoever. So next year, I'd suggest we have something in writing more so that prevents stuff from being pushed into the next year.
I think he owes us one.
Yeah.
For being amicable enough to move some of ours to next year.
And he said this year for him was very busy, and he anticipated next year not being as busy. So
Yeah,
we'll get prioritized.
good.
This year's just Mall Road in Yorktown that we're gonna try to get.
Mall Road, then possibly Cass Plaza Drive, and West Rose Lawn, up by the gas station. That goes up too.
Imagine soon then, fall time.
Yeah, he's gonna start in November.
Okay.
I think it was the week of November 10th.
So we're going to finish those, and then we're going to move these to 2026. And now you're saying that, so the grant that you're applying for is $1.5 million?
No, this would be, the one I'm applying for would just be one.
Just one?
We would put up 1 million, the state would match one.
Okay.
Put it out.
We'll just jump right into the finance part of it, if you want, Cam.
5:08, close the Public Works Committee.
Chad, I brought this, I'll work this up. Try to, I'll go through it, kind of, this is what I thought we could do to match the money.
Okay.
It's in the back there. With the community crossings grant that we did previously, we kind of stayed away from most of our MVH and our local roads and streets, so I used some of the calculations that we do at the end of the budget season. If you go to like the third page there, that Form 2 there, up there where it says R116, guys, that is, I believe that's the gasoline money we get monthly. That's the total projection for next year, and half of that has to be directed each month to the 203 for road paving, correct, Chad?
Okay.
It's split half and half between the 201 and the 203. So if, down there at the bottom, you can kind of see, and the last 2 pages show it. This is what Baker Tilly did for us previously, kind of shows the end of the year numbers for our different funds. And we should end this year with about, where are we at here? 737,000 in the 203. Then when you split the other money up, that gives us a balance of over, by the end of next year, we'd have 1,100,000. So I thought we could use up to 600,000 out of that fund. It's kind of botched around there, but and then the local roads and street, the projection by the end of next year would be, they've got, if you look on that one sheet, it shows like we're going to spend 120,000 this year, but I didn't think you had any plans to spend any paving money. So that balance that it shows there should be 589 at the end of this year, and at the end of next year, it'd be about 750,000. I thought we could use 400,000 out of there, and we'd still have a decent balance in both as we move into 27. And it's really the only thing we can use those funds for, so if everybody's okay with that, we can move that forward and use the 203 fund and the local roads and street.
This is going to cover what we have doing this year and everything that you just listed for next year, right? And then it's going to be done in this,
Stuff that's done in the spring's already covered.
Yeah.
We have all that money is already in the designated fund. We have $2 million sitting there for the work that was already approved.
right?
So conceivably, if they were to approve this grant, we'd have about $4 million worth of paving done next year.
So we could add to this list?
No.
No?
The limit is $1 million now. It used to be $1.5 million, and
Oh,
about halfway through the year, they lowered the match to $1 million for cities our size. And so this is
this is the most we can do with our money.
basically, yeah, he's figured out how we can spend or ask for $1 million in paving.
You know, these are the streets that need the most work.
Well,
Just read you, 1
I
is the
know-
worst, 2
Well, I didn't
is,
know what the numbers meant.
yeah, 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest, and you notice none of them.
very poor quality roads.
Yeah,
And another issue we have to take into play is the water line replacements that are going by utilities. And next summer, it's going to be between the rivers and downtown east. So that's part of the reason why I put Spear Street on there and Smead, and they're like, oh, we got to do maintenance of this. And then on the south side, they're going to be cutting over there. So it kind of restricts what regions we can.
Okay, so this is all the money we have, and this is the best we can do. Okay,
it's the most we can spend for community crossings, yes.
okay. Okay.
Questions for Chad, or want to move this forward? We need to move this to the October 20th meeting so we can designate that we have the funds available so he can have the application sent in on time.
Does this require any kind of an ordinance or,
Write a resolution up.
so who's going to do that?
Grant one, so
It's Cam.
you got anything else for us
I
there?
should say that I try to choose streets that you see a lot of traffic. They generally wear down faster. And then like on Astor and Dayton, it's used as a shortcut between Water Street and Holland Street.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. Even though it's Bucktown, you think, oh, nobody goes to Bucktown, but you just press so many people drive through there.
You've seen me going through there, haven't you? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, Chad.
Well, Mike, you've been here the longest, so I'll let you go first.
Well, actually, I've been interested in one of your other items as well.
I thought you might.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Well, maybe I'll let Natalie go first.
My name is Mike Steinhardt. I'm here in capacity as president of the Cass County Historical Society. I just, before we get into finances, just to mention about the Cass County Historical Society, what are we about, it's our main mission. We do a lot of different things, but if I had to sum it up in 3 words, I'd say preserve county history. If I had to sum it up in 1 word, I'd say digitization. That's what we're in the middle of, is converting county history to digital format as much as possible, in addition to safeguarding our physical collections. Anyway, I was asked to present about our financial situation, and as all of you know, financial statements, 2 elements to that, balance sheet and income statement. And I just have received yesterday our most recent updated financials. Balance sheet as of September 30th. Total equity of $540,000. That sounds impressive. A lot of that is in fixed assets. Our current assets, financial assets, things we can actually spend, pay bills, $160,000 roughly. Now, the way I evaluate reserve levels is in terms of months, or in this case, a year of annual expenses. Our budget is based on $150,000. So $160,000 sounds like we're a little bit more reserves, a little bit more than 1 year of expenses. But actually, we've got a big bill for some restoration work at our Longhouse Museum on Market and East Market and 10th Street. That would actually take us below $150,000. But roughly, we have 12 months of reserves to cover our expenses. So that sounds pretty good. So I feel good about that. That's the good news. The bad news is when I look at the profit and loss statement, as it were, the income statement for through September, and there's 2 elements in that. One is our income, second is our expenses. And we have a budget. So in terms of how we're doing on our budget with our income, we're below where we need to be. We are going to have some significant money that we're sure coming in December, and I'm hoping that will get us closer. But even with that, I think we're going to be about probably $20,000 below budget when all is said and done. And the reason for that is because our capital campaign is not as successful as we would like it to be. That capital campaign basically funds a lot of our operating expenses, and we set a budget for that this year of $31,500, and we've got $12,000 so far, and probably not a lot more coming in. So we're, $19,000, $20,000 under where we need to be with that, and that's probably going to account for most of our deficit on the income side. There's some hope that maybe we'll get a little bit more than we're expecting in December, especially. You never know what might come in leading up to Christmas. On the expense side, we're over budget there, and the principal reason for that is what I hope is a one-time thing, is that our long home has needed a lot of restoration, roof, and various things. It's an older home. I think you all know which I'm talking about, Victorian house. It's on East Market Street.
10th and Market.
There. Long time museum center for us. And those expenses have really added up. We had some grants to cover some of that. We haven't covered some out of our own funds. And so overall, if you look at our total, just through 9/30, ordinary income, we are minus $43,000. Some of it's income, some of it's expense. And then there's some other things if you look at our restricted income, like from grants, and our restricted expenses from paying things that were funded by grants. We're actually at total net income minus $92,000. But that's just for this. That's for this year. That's kind of a one-time thing. Some of that was timing. So I'm not concerned about that. What I am concerned about is the annual situation, which we really are. Say minus $43,000. That's probably a pretty good estimate of where we're going to end up for the year. Roughly minus $40,000. So if you look at our balance sheet and say, hey, we're in good shape. Look at our income statement. Not so good. So that's kind of the overall situation there. Beyond the ordinary annual expenses that we have. We would like to, our big goal is to fund an expansion to our downtown museum, the one, of course, on Broadway and Pearl Street. Fund expansion to the rear of that to house our Revere automobile and make it a general transportation museum for Cass County. Not just Revere, but have other things like the railroad and canal and so forth. Have a transportation museum as the first floor of our museum. And the only way we're going to get that fund, the good news is we did get a grant to pay for architectural plans for this expansion. And we need the architectural plans before we can then get grants to fund the actual construction. We don't know exactly how much that construction is going to be. I think most estimates I've seen between $50,000 and $100,000. We need some combination of a grant or capital campaign to get us to that $100,000. I think if we can get the estimates in place, I think we have hopes of getting the grant, maybe from the city or some other entity that will help us, plus a capital campaign. I think we can get that expansion. That would be a huge boost to the Historical Society because we would actually have something tangible to show the citizens of Cass County. Now, in terms of what the city has given us, I would say, I don't know how long in the past this has been the case, but certainly going back to my involvement with the Historical Society, I think in 2014, I think we've got $20,000 a year, not in a direct appropriation, but simply to cover our utilities. And when that began, it used to $20,000 a year would cover our utilities, initially in the Long House, for the entire year, which is great. Now, of course, we have two buildings, and that 20,000 has stayed flat for a long, long time, as far as I know.
Actually, the way I'm kind of an old historian on this funding, but we were giving you 13,000, and then when you purchased the building downtown, I actually called them up and said, you know that $13,000 now that you're turning in, and we raised it without a discussion, actually up to 20,000, and I know that doesn't get you through the year, because,
Right now, it's getting us through about August,
yeah.
more or less. So, our board, I think, would appreciate if that number could be adjusted upward to 30,000. That would more or less get us through the year for both museums. So that's kind of what I'm here to ask for on that side. That's for our operating expense. And again, to the extent that we can get some source to help fund the Revere addition to our museum, that would be great as well. So that's the big picture, I guess. Are there any questions concerning the Historical Society?
Does the county chip in anything?
The county, great question, thank you. Yes, we got $50,000 from the county this year. Over the last couple of years, we've gotten $50,000. I anticipate that will continue. I have to recuse myself from any direct involvement in the county decision-making. The county council has approved $50,000 2 years in a row, and the indication is that number will continue. That helps to fund our budget. You look in terms of different sources of our income, between the 20,000 utility from the city, and 50,000 cash grant from the county, that covers 70,000 of our $150,000 budget.
So is it currently in the budget for 26? The 50,000?
We're going to adopt the budget for 2026 here shortly. It's not, we haven't formally adopted. It'll be something like our 2025 budget. So I think we're probably just keeping it around $150,000.
No, I meant what
He
you're
means
getting
for
from
the
the county,
county.
is it currently in your budget for 26?
It's not actually in the budget, but I've talked with county council president, and I believe that
Mhm.
2026.
Okay.
And then what we hope to do is get it in the 2027 budget during the 2026 budget process next year. We're working on the 2027 budget. But we missed this year. But I believe that they will give us that
Okay.
$50,000 since they have the last 2 years.
All right.
Will the transportation room be big enough that you can include the fire department steamer?
No, I don't think that will, be that big. What is, I think exactly, and I know the railroad, for example, we're gonna have a separate location for a lot of the items regarding the railroad. So that has not been resolved, but I do want to include the Revere and have some elements of the transportation story within that expansion area. But I don't think we can have another large element.
Just asking.
Oh, I don't know, I've not heard that discussed.
It's at Fifth, it's on Station 5, isn't it?
Over on Front Street.
Yeah.
So that was not actually, that has not been presented to me, and I just can't see that expansion being big enough to accommodate both. We definitely want the Revere in there, and we do want other elements of transportation story to be presented in that exhibit space. Canal, railroad, addition.
So your request is, you want to increase your $20,000 annually to $30,000
Correct.
from the city for basically your utility expenses?
Yeah, just basically, yes, cover those expenses. That would pretty much cover through 12 months.
Okay, so my question to you is, so it sounds like you got $70,000 coming from the city and the county, and you're saying that your capital campaign fund, you were shooting for $31,500 and you're only at $12,000. So what are your other sources of income?
Well, we have a major donor, it's actually it's from a trust, a family trust, if you will.
Uh-huh.
And we get, well, we've got in the past in budget $27,500 from that. We are hoping that we might get a significant increase from that source. Now, the other major funds that we get, that are not part of our operating budget, we get a lot of grants from the Community Foundation, from the Indiana Historical Society, a number of different places. We're trying to maximize our grant funding. Our executive director, Heather Fouts, I think that's a real strength of hers, is to apply for grants. And so those grants cover a lot of the repair work at the lawn.
Yeah, I saw that you're putting a new roof on. I will say this, I would have appreciated when the Historical Society came and did a presentation recently, and just, was just telling us what they do. Like, it was a good presentation, and I appreciated it, but I couldn't really figure out why they were here, because they didn't say that they were looking for an increase of monies, and I would have appreciated that if they would have said at that time.
Suzie, you got to realize that that's a complete separate entity from the Historical Society, the Preservation Commission.
Well, they work,
Yeah, but-
I understand, but they work hand in hand, but okay.
But yeah, I'm involved in both groups, which is maybe a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, but, and we just discussed this today at our Historic Preservation Commission meeting, right? Receiving this, we were here at 4 o'clock, and we do not normally use funds.
Right.
The commission does not need funds typically, and so we did not ask them, we simply wanted to for the council to understand what we do and see if there's any issue or anything we need to address. So the commission, that Historic Preservation Commission is really, we have a huge overlap in membership, which is part of another element of confusion.
Right.
But I'm here today, not with regard to the Historic Preservation Commission, but just with regard to the Cass County Historical Society.
Okay.
Now, if I can clear, there's one other item of, in terms of historical groups. There's a group called America 250, and I think Dave, you know about that being on our committee. I organized a group to coordinate the Cass County celebration of our nation's 250th birthday. So that's a third group that's involved. I just put a and the group, I want to indicate that we had a major project outlined, which is a celebration on July 3rd. Now, realizing there's going to be fireworks from Lotus Fort and other Cass County communities on July 4th. On July 3rd, we are planning to have a symphony of patriotic music the Lafayette Symphony, and plus also perhaps with county high school choral groups. And the budget for this is roughly around $22,000. And I am happy to announce that we have obtained a corporate sponsor for roughly 2/3 of the total of that cost. And we've also had a couple other corporate donors, which will pretty much cover the entire expense of that. Plus, there was some money left over at the Community Foundation from a previous bicentennial, the state bicentennial back in, was that 2016, 2018? I think 2016. Anyway, they had some money left over, which they graciously allowed for America 250. So we are going to have a very good celebration of our nation's 250th birthday coming next June. We have a number of different activities. We already had some of the passing of flags and the 4th of July parades and so forth. We're going to have a number of different activities throughout this year, but the culmination will be that symphony. Again, that's a third group, and we're kind of operating through the, in a sense, through the Historical Society and the Community Foundation. So it is confusing. We have all these different groups involving history, and Dave and I are a couple of them, so it may be confusing to see the same face coming before this group of people.
One last question. I'm just curious. You used to have memberships. Do you still have people that are members of the Historical Society?
We do, and there are two elements to this story. I'll give the bad news first and then the good news. The bad news was we used to have as many, I think it was 300 members. As you can imagine, many of the average membership of our society is very high age, very, very high age. And the problem is that a lot of our membership dies off. And so our membership has been significantly declining. The good news is that our executive director is beginning to turn that around. I think we've got 10 new members here in the last month or so. And so we are hoping to increase our membership and lower the average age, get some younger people involved. So that's, and of course, one thing we do, and this is one of our, not related to our core purpose, but we do have a presence in the school system. She gave a tour for, I think it was Pioneer Elementary School students, came 4th grade students. I know 4th grade in particular is a grade that really is involved in local history. And so we give a tour of Long, for example. And I have this note of personal pride regarding the Long. We've kind of rearranged some of the rooms there. And one of the rooms is our immigrant acceptance and immigrants room. And that's based on my book. I don't know if any of you have seen my book that I wrote on local history. It's Settlers and Immigrants, an Ethnic History of Cass County, Indiana. We have an actual room dedicated to the various ethnic groups that have settled here in Cass County. And it's on the 2nd floor of the Long Home Museum. So our students have there are various rooms up there for different aspects of local history, and these 4th grade students went through that. I just mentioned one other thing, since this is all history involved. This is America 250 project, but our Veteran Service Officer at the county courthouse and I are co-authoring, working on the book on Cass County veterans, from the Revolutionary War through Iraq and Afghanistan. And can you guess how many veterans we're going to profile? This is for America 250. 250 veterans we're going to profile. And so we're working on that project. We've lined up a publisher. Split Road Media, I think, is probably going to be able to do this for us. We've got the cost estimate. I think we can cover the cost of this, and we're going to be providing this book for sale at a reasonable cost. Hopefully, we'll get it done by July 3rd, 2026, if not before. So those are some of the activities that we're involved with in terms of Historical Society, America 250, which is kind of an offshoot of the Historical Society.
All right, Mike, well, here's what I'd probably tell you is we've got 20,000 in our budget currently for you, but, as the year goes on, and your plans move forward, we might invite, if you feel the need to come back. But I think we'll probably, that's what we put in there. And with all the things that are going on right now, we're going to have to start being much more selective in how we support other organizations, quite honestly.
And I understand.
You know where I'm at.
On the county side, we have the same issues, so I understand what you're saying. Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
You might-
I could have just invited Mike to stay up here.
Yeah.
Join him, because he is, of course, the past president. I'm here representing Cass Area Transit. I'm the current president of the board of directors of Cass Area Transit. Mike, of course, is our immediate past president. So he and I have been working very closely together to put together lots of things that are transforming Cass Area Transit into an organization that we feel better represents how we want to be able to handle the transportation for all of our riders. And that's a very broad group. We have everything from seniors to school kids to disabled people to just people who need a ride somewhere. And most people can ride anywhere on one of our buses for $3. For quite some time, I can't tell you how long, you may know, the city has also had a dedicated route that is a map route that we operate that basically takes riders on a circuit. There's a bus of ours that is dedicated to running that circuit, and that is the essence of why I am here today. Just to give you a few numbers, this is through the end of September, so 9 out of 12 months. System-wide, we have around 47,000 rides given. That's 22.5 million gallons of fuel and 214,000 miles traveled. That's for all of our buses. Bus 11 is the city bus. So that 47,000 passenger count obviously isn't all on the city bus. City bus is about right now 6,700. If we gross that up through the end of the year, we're looking at over 9,000 riders that utilize the city bus. And that's fairly consistent with where it has been for the last couple of years. We don't have a passenger count breakdown for the city bus specifically. Our general passenger count breakdown shakes out as about, the biggest chunk is seniors. The next largest chunk is school kids. School kids aren't typically using the city bus to go anywhere. That's more specific, where we're setting up specific routes for them. We're actually supplementing the school bus system. So if we extrapolate these numbers and accept that most of the children are not riding the city bus, it's mostly seniors and then a small percentage then of disabled. 14% of all of our ridership for our various 20-plus buses are on the one bus 11 city bus, 14%. So a little background on how we are funded. We are a county pass-through. We get matching funds from both the state of Indiana and from the federal government. But we have to have local funds for them to be able to match. The bulk of those funds come from the county. The second largest amount comes from the city of Logansport. The cost of operating the city bus is about the same as the amount that we've requested last year for this year and what we're requesting this year for next year. And that's $100,000. That is up from what it had been in 2024. but it's what we had been approved for 2025, and we are not asking for an increase for 2026 at this time. We're just basically hoping that we can get the same that we got before. We are also able to get various grants to cover specific things that we operate. There is a grant that we get from Area 5, there's a grant that we get from United Way. So we don't rely just on the two governmental entities to be our funding, but they're the bulk of the funding that then the state of Indiana matches, and then once that's folded in, the federal government matches as well. Year to date, we are, our total income is $638,000, and our total expenses are about $964,000. That's a $325,000 shortfall year to date, and that sounds shocking. It's not as bad as it sounds because we've spent money that we now, because we just got through the end of Q3, now we submit the claim to NDOT for Q3, and we wait patiently for NDOT to come back and tell us that we're approved, and yeah, we'll someday get a check from them. So that's a normal state of business for us at the end of a quarter to be short about a quarter of our operating costs. Because every quarter we submit to NDOT and then get reimbursed sometime later that quarter. So we believe that we're not really operating at a $325,000 loss, but more like about a $25,000 loss so far this year. That's all the prepared canned presentation I have, but I'm happy to take any comments, and if I need help, I can reel this guy.
I would just say, I think it's one of the few things that we can offer to a sector of our community that truly needs transportation, and, you know, we do appreciate the services that you provide.
Thank you very much. We're pleased to be able to do so. We are, as I said at the onset, we are here to reform and reshape what the organization has been to make it more user-friendly, more customer-focused. And we just, actually our board just recently passed a $3 an hour increase for our starting wage for our drivers, in the hopes that we can attract some people who are more willing to deal with our customers in a professional and courteous manner.
Yeah. I knew that you guys have been working on I guess just re-looking at everything again. I know you've been working on that for a couple of years. Mike was well involved with it.
Yes.
You know, if you make any major changes in the next year or so, you know, we'd love to hear what's going on so that we know, if we're asked by the community,
Sure.
how things are operating. And
This is kind of, behind the scenes-ish, but we just completed the process where we hired Vicki Bird to look at all of our policies and procedures, our mission, vision, values. We are redoing all of our job descriptions for every role in the organization. And really, we're not starting from scratch. We didn't let everybody go and then start to rehire people, but we are, as we proceed forward, we are identifying the elements that are in need of updating, whether it's personnel or otherwise.
well, and I think that'll make you more appealing to the people that need it.
I'm certainly hopeful that that's the case.
Anybody have any questions for Chris? We've got his request in the budget, so if everyone's okay
Plus
with
in at $100,000 for 2026. Yeah, I really appreciate your service. I'm somebody who goes to Martin's every single day between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, and so I see your service being used every day, and I appreciate it. And the people who are using it are the people who need it. So thank you.
questions? All right, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it. Thanks, Mike.
Natalie, you've been patiently waiting, come on up.
Someone else, hold the garnish sheet and it right on
Yeah,
there.
there you go.
Shelter, so this is my husband, Garrett Baldini. I'm Natalie Baldini, I'm the current director of the Casa County Humane Society. I was asked here by Mr. Morris to come and speak on just an update on our finances, just seems like everyone else is doing. I have a little packet here that I can pass out, I brought 5 copies, do you guys want me to pass them out now?
I appreciate that, thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep on here so I can reference it, but, so through April, and I say April because that's when I started managing as a volunteer, as a temporary director until I was officially hired June 1st. So when you see April to September, those are just the numbers that I've been tracking. In partnership with the city and the county, we have been able to support kind of the following operational efforts. So our total number of intakes for this year, now this number is from January to today. We have taken in 525 cats and dogs as of today. We actually took 7 puppies today, so it's a surprise. Our animal control officer, who we have a really great relationship with, Keith Henry, he's started around February 13th. So from February 13th to the end of September, we have specifically taken 146 cats and dogs from him. We have, since I have been there, so from April to September, so out of those 525 cats and dogs, I have helped adopt out 256 with the staff at the shelter. We've spayed and neutered 267 dogs and cats from April to September. And again, this is all with the help of the funding that we've received from the city and the county. We've improved our medical care that we offer at the shelter. I have hired a part-time vet tech. She comes 3 days a week. Again, with the funding that we received from you. And then we've also done some improvements to our building. We have replaced one of our AC units over the summer that broke. We've done some dog kennel repairs. There's still more to be done. We've upgraded our kennels in the cat area. We've added a cat-free roam room. I added a new medical intake room for cats when you enter the building to safely intake cats now and isolate sick ones away from healthy population. And then we also upgraded the break room for staff. Again, this is all with the funding that we received from the city and the county. We have operated at a loss for the last 5 years. But again, we've been able to kind of curtail closing down because of the funding that we received, specifically the contract in 2024 and the contract in 2025 has really helped us keep our doors open. We are actively, constantly fundraising and looking for donations. Since I just started in June, I'm getting into the grant application process and finding them, so that's part of the process as well. So our operating expenses do just continue to grow with inflation, just like anything else. Specifically, animal supplies, animal food, medical expenses are growing, especially now that we are, like I said, we have our vet tech on staff, and we also are paying for spaying and neutering.
So to think about it, the operating expenses, it's probably roughly 50% staff, right, that are taking care of the animals on a day-to-day basis. And then probably another 25 to 30% supplies, and probably another 20% medical. And then there's obviously other things in there, insurance, professional services, small maintenance, like getting the yard mowed, stuff like that. That does not cover any capital expenditures, right? So we want to make the building better. We want to be able to have a vet tech room, so we're not having to pay all the medical expenses. All of that would be on top. So roughly it takes probably $350,000 to $400,000 just to operate on a year-to-year basis. You can see over the 5 years, it obviously has grown due to inflation, but also I would say in the last 2 years due to just taking better care of the animals.
And the staff.
Yeah, and the staff, yeah. I mean, I don't know what the pay was 18 months ago, but we have been able to retain staff by giving the better staff members raises. I mean, it's pretty simple. So that's the majority of our costs. Now, we would likely have closed down without, I don't know when this was, a very large donation from, you know,
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, Shirley
Shirley Hines.
2007.
Yeah, 2017.
And
That,
that's our reserve.
yeah, so on our balance sheet, just from a, fixed income or equity basis, about $700,000. I'm probably rounding there, so don't quote me exactly. We dipped into that, quite a bit. So I forget who talked earlier about how many years they would have left to survive. We're probably in the 2 to 4 range, if something doesn't drastically change. So I know you guys, we had, I would assume we're in at 136 next year as well. And I know you kind of said no to more for the other folks. If there is any, that's something we're, looking to get, looking to add, and looking to push the county on as well. And I know, Cameron, you asked someone else about what's the county give. When you guys give 136, county gives 50 to us, the county does not give up, and would be,
Right.
yeah.
And to clarify, in our contract, we help take care of cats and dogs with the city and the county. In their contract, we only help with dogs. And so the county cat problem continues, and it's starting to infiltrate into the city, the stray cats.
which has been happening for a while, yeah.
For a while,
Yeah.
it's really out of control, so,
I think what's great too, on the second page, not to, dismiss, but I think now you need to get some of the really great fundraising efforts we've had in the last, I'd say 12 months and about a $100,000 match, so I think we really just, not to steal your thunder, but
yeah, as of yesterday. So, we did reach our $100,000 match grant, so we're in the final, process of that, receiving that match from Lilly. And then what we plan on using that for, initially it was applied to do a 2,000 square foot addition to our building. But that was just gonna be the bare bones building, nothing inside. And since then, we've kind of reached out to some experts, and we're actually working with a company called Shelter Planners of America. They recently just did Humane Fort Wayne, new shelter, and they also work with rural shelters as well. They don't just go and do these big fancy ones. And I just had a meeting yesterday with them. And we are working with them in the phases of renovations and additions. So this $200,000 is going to help us begin that process, and then there's going to be another capital campaign that we're going to do and additional fundraising to get to that. Hopes and dreams of this new renovated and new addition.
Yeah, probably like two main reasons for that is one, the shelter is like not a building that was built to be a shelter.
Right.
I don't know what it was built for, but it is a makeshift shelter.
Yeah, so we're-
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a warehouse, right? So
It was a
we just
gift,
need-
yeah.
We need basic ventilation. Like a vet couldn't even come to do a surgery, even if we wanted that, because we don't have the right HVAC, right? So like just basic stuff like that. And then, we don't have enough room for all the dogs and all the cats. So I mean, I don't know what our turn away policy is, but we need additional space to be able to actually service the amount of animals that come through the city and the county on a monthly, yearly basis.
We turn away people daily that need help because of the space, so.
Let me ask you, just out of curiosity, I'm looking at your sheet here.
Yeah.
What type of revenue have you actually taken in out there from adoptions and whatnot? I mean, I see where you're spending the money and what you're getting from the city and the county, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
what does that amount to?
Yeah, it's at a yearly basis. Adoptions is, everything outside of city and county contracts is going to range anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 a year. And that big range mainly has someone die and giving us a big check that year from a donation perspective. Like, granted, but that's the truth. I mean, that's, if we get a large donation from an inheritance that didn't have anywhere else to go, that year we're going to have more donations than we would. From something that we can control perspective, adoptions range anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 a year. It was a lot more probably in 2020 and 2021 when COVID, people are home, hey, I want a dog, I want a cat. It has definitely curtailed in the last couple of years, so we're projecting $15,000 roughly from adoptions this year. Yep. Grants, as Natalie said, grants have never been that large. I have grants dating back 5 years, and it's never over more than $5,000 or $10,000. So that is something we need to heavily focus on, and Natalie needs to do that, obviously. And then from our equity portfolio, we do, since we have a fairly sizable portion that we can now hopefully not dip into, but that does get dividends and interest, et cetera. And that range is probably anywhere between $25,000 and $35,000 a year. So adding all that up, right, you guys at 136, the county at 150, that's 186, add another roughly $100,000 or $150,000 on top of that, you put us at like $280,000 to $330,000 of income. With an operating budget every year, that's at least $350,000. So every year, no matter what, even if we're fundraising or getting large donations, we're operating at a loss. And dipping into that Shirley Hines fund that used to be bigger for spay and neuter for all the operations that have to happen at the shelter.
How much money are you getting from the county annually? So you're getting $186,000 total locally. And then you've raised $100,000 in 2025 from your fundraisers, correct?
Yeah.
And that's a match.
That's the match.
So that 200,000, so the 100 that turns into 200, is going to all go towards the capital expenditures that Natalie's working on with Shelter Planners of America.
It's only.
So we don't want to use those funds for operating expenses. We will,
No, we can't.
but if we do that, we just have to continue to raise funds to be able to actually service the animals of Cass County the way they should be, which is currently not what's happening.
But so now, last year when we talked to you, we were on a game plan to have a, like a bring 'em in station, and we're gonna do
Intake treatment.
a new, yeah, so we were gonna do that, and now you're saying that you just realized that the money for that would just be a shell, and you wouldn't be able to put anything inside the building. So now you're looking, you still wanna be on that path, but you've spent more money trying to fix up the facility that you're sitting in to make it more doable and for people to wanna work there. And then, but you still do have the idea to have the intake center, and so your $200,000 that you just collected, your matching grant, you're gonna put that towards this new intake facility?
Yes.
Okay, so is your game plan still to start that? Are you gonna try to be doing that in 2026?
Yes.
Okay,
That's what's underway right now. Shelter Planners of America, they run 3 phases. So we were recommended to them by Indy Humane, Fort Wayne Humane, and then Fulton County Humane, so rural and city areas, that they do a phased approach, because a lot of people who would typically contract to build a shelter don't know how to build a shelter. They wouldn't know the right things to do, and it wouldn't be up to the areas that we would want it to be.
Yeah, I toured Kokomo Humane and they didn't use like a shelter-specific architect, and they just recently built in the last 7 years, and she walked me through and showed me everything that they wish that they had used an expert on.
So we have 3 phases right now. Natalie's in the architectural and like the discovery phase. Then we'll move to 3D renderings where we'll have every single thing, ironed out that we want to do, and then they actually contract with local builders to build the facility. So, I guess maybe probably more phases than 3, but bubble to 3.
Yeah. So it's not the 2,000 square foot pole barn that was originally applied for, but it's still what you're saying, to see that we're working towards those, renovations that we originally planned for.
So we didn't have a formal request. I know we just came here, and I assumed that our request was just to at least get what we have gotten from last year, and that would be fantastic. But realistically, we're going to ask the county for more. And if you guys were able to chip in anywhere between $30,000 to $50,000 more, it would allow us to stay open a lot longer, while also continuing our capital campaigns to actually expand the shelter, as Natalie was described. So that's my official request.
Appreciate it. Again, like I'll tell you, I had already plugged in the numbers and we're kind of locked into those numbers for the time being. But if you get into your capital campaign and whatnot, it might be a time you could come back and talk to us. And but unfortunately, we're like you guys, with the state and the state's new rules and regulations, we're going to be looking at losing a lot of revenue in the next few years. So.
Totally understand.
And we're looking to do some cutting yet today, so unfortunately. But we do have you in for $136,000 if everybody's okay with that for the time being.
I am. And I really encourage you to it's just, it's inadequate for the county to give you $50,000. And we have this problem all the time, where the city is giving the multitude of money for services that include the city and the county. So I really encourage you to go back to the county, and I'm happy to go sit in on a meeting and talk to them for you, because it's just, when you look at I mean, I know we have the population, but the county is huge, and, bringing your cats into the city and bringing your dogs into the city and then making them be stray dogs and stray cats in the city as opposed to in the county, like that just doesn't work. So I really encourage you to ask them for more money. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Yep.
Thank you.
Natalie, I really appreciate your work at the shelter. I just want you to know that it's making great
Sure do.
progress.
Yeah,
And it's,
Our fundraiser is March 7th, so I snuck that on. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
March 7th, got it.
We got a
Yeah.
good cover band coming from Indy.
Yeah, I appreciate your work, seriously.
Thank you.
Okay, Ross, if you would put the screen before we start looking at the budget, I wanted to show you a few things. These are just some snippets from the meeting we have at Baker Tilly yesterday morning. This here, scroll down to where you can see the gray part on it, Ross. If you can look at that, what this is this is a projection of the lit funding in the year 2028. The way our lit system is set up right now, we have public safety lit, and we have economic development lit, and funding that goes towards the general fund. And you can see there the projected revenue for those three funds this year is, for the city, is $6,728,898. The projected realigned funding will be, in 2028, will be $4,544,117, and possibly, if we put in the fire department, which we have to, it's all got to be worked out yet, we could possibly garner another $790,000, but that money would be directly used for public safety fire department. So even with that, you're looking at $1,400,000 shortfall by the year 2028. Now, if you go to the next screen, Ross. And like I say, these are things, we had the county at this meeting, we had the schools at this meeting, in the city, and everyone got to hear how this is going to affect the three entities. And it's going to be real important as we move forward to try to work together to find the best funding mechanisms for all three entities. But the best case scenario would be is if we were allowed to designate the 0.4 for fire department, which would raise that number up to $1,580,000, and only leave us a shortfall of about $600,000 in 2028. But still, we all know what direction everything goes. You're looking at a minimum of $600,000 projected. Those numbers could change with time depending on things, and one of the emphasis, we actually had Ethan Manning was here, Stacy Donato was here, and I think it was really good for them to see what was discussed, because you can vote on things or you can make decisions sometimes and not realize what all the end results of those decisions might be. So, the hope is we got 2 years, maybe they'll do something to kind of rectify this situation. But as I say, the best case scenario currently would be that the impact would only be around $600,000 on our lit funding. You want to go to the next one there, Ross? Now we'll take a look at general fund. That's the counties, and as you can see, because of the breakdown of their 1%, and 2%, and 3% property layouts, their impact is minimal. It does go down, but scroll to the next screen. This is the city's projection. we were projected to get 10.6 million this year, and it's more like 10.1. Next year, we're projected to get, or for 26 it is, 27 to 10.3, and for 2028, when all of the new residential property tax things kick in, is projected to be about 7.8 million. So, as you can see, we have our work cut out for us as we move forward. And I think that was all of those slides. Before we start looking at the rest of it, I got a sheet. Did I give you guys this sheet? Yeah. We put our budget together. We know we tried to stack it because you can always go back, but you can't go forward. You can't raise it. Our disbursements, as they currently stand, are about $15,400,000 for next year out of the general fund. Our projected revenue for next year is $13,970,000. So basically, our net cash flow, the number that I circled, is actually low because we had to add some things that were kind of unexpected. I found out that we calculated the number I was given to calculate PERF for public safety was increased from 20.3% to 23.3% for this year. So it's basically about a quarter of their salary we have to pay towards their PERF also. There were a couple other things. We're looking at possible stormwater fees next year, so I had to put a number in there for that. But anyway, the number is more like 1.4, 1.5 million that we're short. So we're here today to kind of take a look at the budget. And I know that each of you has voiced concerns about things in the budget that you wanted to talk about, so I thought I would start by that. Going through it, we can go through it department by department. If there's something in that department that concerns you, that you'd like to see changed, and I'm talking about going down, preferably. But you have the thing for the budget there too, Ross?
That's everything.
He didn't. Okay, well, I guess no one gets to look at this. I had asked Tyler to put it on the flash drive to put the budget in there.
Dave, would you mind emailing that to all of us?
Yeah.
Let's start.
Yep, sure can. I can send you the whole thing. That was kind of the Cliff Notes, but there's parts in there for the county, the city, the schools. But yeah, I can send it to you.
Yeah, Dave, I'd like to see it too.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'll get it out to everybody. Start with the clerk treasurer's. He's at the top of the budget if you have your budget with you there. Is there anything within the clerk treasurer's budget that you would like to see changed? You have any concerns with it? Treasurer's budget?
Me.
All right, I'll save it for later. I have a thought, but I'll leave it for later. How about the mayor's budget? Let's see, where does it start? Starts at the bottom of the first page there.
Starts at the bottom of the second page, Dave. I'd like to say that I would like to see us reduce the amount of the contractual services for the mayor of $50,000.
I agree.
My recommendation would be 0.
I would also agree.
Any other thoughts on that?
Taking all of it, I leave them 10. Something you can have.
We spent $53,000 to $56,000 of taxpayers' money in 2024 for a TLB or TBL league that was just a total waste of money, and I think that that was his idea, that was it was his adventure, and I think that if he wants to have an idea, that he should have to come ask about it, because I would never have agreed to that to start with.
No. No, I feel that that should have been brought before council.
Any thoughts?
See both sides of it, so I'm impartial.
I just, I like what you're saying there and everything, but, you want to take 40 and leave him 10 and give him something to do, or then he has to come up and ask for money to do something, or, so he's just gonna go out on his own and have fun, more or less.
Or you could spend $10,000 more dollars for nothing.
Yeah. Your thoughts?
I'm not opposed to reducing it. I think it's been discussed. I can't say that I disagree with anybody that's voiced an opinion. I think that better judgment could have been used. It's going to end up costing us in more ways than one, I believe, and
It costs us another $10,000 on, if it gets, Kelly told us, yeah, if you have to pay for your, I mean, if you want to give him $10,000 and then we have to pay for the deductible for the insurance company doing something, if we get sued by the Super 8 motel, then he can spend his $10,000 on that. That's fine with me.
I'm good with that.
But if you give him contractual money, you can't tell him how to spend it. Like, you can't put a clause in there. So, I mean, you guys can do what you want. I'm just expressing how I feel personally.
well, I tend to agree. I think we should just take it out, and if he has a need, he can come to us and make a request. And, because like you say, the money that's been spent is going to come back to haunt us in more ways than one. So we all good with just taking it out?
Yep. BJ, you said yes? Thank you.
Anything else in the mayor's? Okay. Move on to the city council. Anything in the city council's budget that you want to change? I will tell you that I put 3% raise in there for us as well as everybody else, so that if you're opposed to that, let me know now.
David, is there a provision, I thought by state statute that elected officials' pay was to be established before the election, so that it would be in effect during the election, or right after the election. That you I'm not sure, I haven't looked at it for quite a while, but I didn't think that you could raise yourself as elected officials, either the mayor, clerk treasurer, or council.
If that's the case, we could do it wrong for 10 years.
Has already been,
The mayor and the clerk treasurer and others. raises. This is probably, I think I've been on council 10 years, and I think the pay is like $300 difference than it was 10 years ago, but
Okay, well, if it's been working now, I'm not.
you know there's a rule like that, please let me know.
Double check that, but I.
But like I said, we've been, because we write a separate salary ordinance for elected officials every year. So, well, you're the lawyer, so help us out. If it's wrong, please tell us, because like I said, we've been doing that since I've been on council.
I haven't looked at it for a Coos age.
Okay.
To,
Did you check though, just?
yes, I will. I just haven't been in your budget meeting, so
Okay. All right.
don't want to ruin a good thing.
Okay. All right, Board of Works. Anything in the Board of Works you guys see? I think the Board of Works is fairly similar to what it's been in the past. There are a few changes. I believe we had to raise workman's compensation up this year. It went up because we actually didn't have enough money funded last year. So I think Robin gave me a number that would work in there this year.
They ran that through an audit, which is the standard operating procedure in this town.
Yeah, we actually had to pay like a back portion or something, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The more you pay, the more you pay.
yeah. Okay. Planning Commission. I think I've explained this to you before, but we pay half their salaries for the planning director, assistant planning director, and administrative assistant, and then we pay 25% of the administrative assistant that's for the surveyor and the planner. So that's why their numbers always look so skewed. That's half of their salaries. I will say in planning that I put it in there, but I think we should take it out as the signage, the $52,000 for the signage.
I thought they're getting new signs. They're going to get new signs.
But I think we're going to work towards having that go through possibly the Visitors Bureau. Is it kind of our angle on that, Jacob?
I'm sorry.
The signage, I was suggesting we take that out.
Does the Visitors Bureau have enough budget to cover it?
I don't, we're in the discovery process of that with the county officials as well, but as far as we know, that they have ample funds to assist with something like that.
Okay.
Like those carousel signs at the edge of town, is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
they're designing new, they're designing new welcome to Logansport signs that, right, for the entrances, and the Logansport Reimagine is designing, it's nice, we saw them. Yeah, no kidding. So I just feel like, I don't mind taking that out as long as we know that it's covered, but I would prefer to just leave, well, I know it, like if you just wanted to leave something in there in case they were a little short, but, or they can just come and ask us for it, is that what you're saying?
But
Okay.
I think in the end, we'll get it worked out where possibly the Visitors Bureau will fund that.
I just want to make sure that it gets done, because it's overdue, and I'm really in support of that.
So we're taking it out.
It's going to be 0? Okay, thank you.
All right. Data processing. I've gone over this a couple times with both Tyler and Robin. I think, I don't know that there's anything we can take out of there. But no. Okay. And then our city attorney, he refused to raise, from what I was told. So all his numbers are the same.
Well, we can, that's good news, thank you.
Brings us to the Parks Department. Jan's here if you want to ask her any questions about anything, but
Dave, we did find lower prices on a couple of those things, some of those capital improvements.
Okay.
You want those numbers? I sent those to you that I can.
I've got a few of them. What I was going to suggest, and I'll do it later, is probably, we will want them, but I'm thinking a lot of your capitals we're going to move completely out and utilize some of the remaining GO bond money.
We were at the meeting last night, they talked about the pumps.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be under the golf course part? Okay. All right, so that's going to come under the golf course, not under the Parks Department? Okay, that's right, I'll wait. It'll come up in a minute. I would like to say about the Parks Department budget, I've only done this for a year and a half, but I would like to say that I just feel like the secretary, Kelly Smith, that works for the Parks Department, I would like to, the idea I have would be to maybe change her title from a secretary to something else. I mean, I just feel like she's an administrative assistant to the Parks Department, the same as other women are in the city working for departments, and this is just my own personal feeling, I just would like to see her have a better income than she has for the amount of work that she does, and I just think she does a great job. So I just like to advocate for that if that could happen.
Actually, depending on where you looked, some places she's listed as the administrative assistant. On this one, she's been listed as a secretary, although I did change that in the system, in the DLGF, but,
Change her title, but her salary is $41,850. And
that's what she currently makes, yeah, or what she would currently make, yes.
And did you compare that to other administrative assistants?
Yeah, it depends on who you're looking at. I've tried to, and a lot of this, I don't know the logic on it, but for years, ever since I've been on council, the administrative assistant to the mayor has made considerably more than most of the other assistants for the department heads. I don't know what the rationale for that ever was, but it's just kind of continued on. We're here to talk about it. Jan, if you want to speak on it, you're free to. Sure.
Well, I don't have anything prepared, except to say that Kelly is actually, she's the glue that holds everything together for the Parks Department.
She's the nucleus.
She's, I would say, more of a daily operations manager. When a complaint comes in, she gets it out to the right person. She's obviously very well organized with her claims and the things that she, money-wise, she keeps on top of that very well. And, it's, without her, it would be hard. I mean, she was gone today and it was, fortunately quiet, but, it's just one of those, it's hard to operate when she's not there. And she covers a lot of ground for everybody. And that includes the golf course, that includes the pool. When the pool is operating, she's taking care of all the money that goes through that and making those deposits on top of the regular parks money. The golf course takes care of their own money, so she doesn't have to worry about that. But,
The most obvious thing about her income is that, you just hired a recreation director that makes $5,000 more a year than Kelly Smith makes.
She's not making that much.
This says she's making 46,652.
That's the top pay for
But
that
that's
position.
top pay, and she's
Okay.
not making that much, so,
Okay,
I think she's more like it, but it's 2050, I think is what it is right now. So, per hour, if you're gonna do an hourly wage, so.
okay. Well, I just am saying I'd just like to consider giving Kelly a push above the 3% raise that we're giving everyone, just because I just feel like she's
Well,
a,
I mentioned her years of experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
She didn't have it with us particularly, but she ran the.
Worked at the middle school forever,
office for
yeah.
25 years.
Yeah.
So, she knows how to do it.
so what would you, well, I don't honestly have a recommendation. I don't have a recommendation. I'm just asking if we could do something, Dave. And I wondered, what would be your recommendation?
Well, I'd like to see her get at least as much as whatever the recreation director is getting, yeah. Because she works just as hard as the recreation director does, so.
Okay. Do you know?
That's the new one you just hired.
Yeah.
Right. Dave, do you know what her annual salary is right now?
I don't know what Jan started her at. I can only tell you what it looks like it would go to next year is 46,652. I'm looking,
For the director, you're saying?
that would be top pay for her, yeah,
That's okay.
yeah,
And I don't think we're gonna get there
right.
next year. You know,
Well, let me-
knowing Kelly, she would be appreciative of anything that you're able to do for her. So, even if you could just, put another 1,000 on her, she would be grateful for that, I know, so. Because I realize we're,
I really leave that up to your discretion, because you're the one that knows the money and the finances, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Considering it actually, but
I'm happy to write
let me see here.
make a daily operations manager so that.
Job description.
With a job description that's more detailed and that kind of thing, if that's what.
She does all your foundation stuff. Now, does the foundation pay her to do that? No, it's all right. I understand what you're saying, but I'm just, they do give her some funding on top for her work at that.
Yeah. If you're counting on me to count on to get the money all straight, you would be doing very well. She does a good job with that, so too.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Wrong here, I wondered, our maintenance person at the golf course, does not have, on the salary ordinance, that should be, it's listed as 2026 as the top wage, which is where he's at right now.
Okay,
That should be 2085.
20.
That maintenance position.
Oh, I didn't change the hourly rates, what you're saying?
Yeah.
The salary changed and,
Yeah,
okay.
That needs to be fixed.
Thank you, Jan. I'll write.
I think you got it right in the budget.
Yeah, just the hourly rate doesn't
Yeah, it
calculate.
needs to be 2085.
2085.
And that's what you've done for park maintenance too.
Well, see, the things, some of them calculate themselves and others don't, and I didn't pay.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, I don't know why that is. I'm not smart enough to figure the computer out, but I'll check your hourly ones. All right.
You guys have the other things? Pages? Okay. Anything else I can help with?
Since you put in for a new backhoe, are you gonna trade that one in or just sell it outright?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the original, put that in here. The price was like $139,000, and then the trade-in brought it down to $115,000.
I think I saw that. Did you get that, BJ?
No, I didn't get that, that's good.
Yeah, okay.
The other one that went lower was the large area mower with the bat wings. It went down from 90 to 70. Yeah. So.
Well, like I said, I think I'm just we're probably gonna pull those big ticket items out to bring the general down, and we'll use the GO bond for that. And then we'll put the right numbers in when we get ready to write the ordinance up.
You're just going to take those out of the budget completely?
I'll go
The
through,
backhoe and the-
I got kind of a list made up that I'll go
Okay.
through with you after we get through the budget.
Well, we talked about that for the playground equipment at Riverside Park also.
That was one I did want to talk to Jan about, because I was kind of wanting you guys to tell me what you thought ought to come out for. Because you know that I explained the numbers pretty large that we're looking at here. And I just, I took the playground completely out of the budget. And my biggest concern was, Jan, we did the master plan, and I felt like the next step maybe is just, if that's the master plan for the park, we need to get it drawn up so you know when you put the playground in, it's at the right elevation and not just locate.
It's an actual construction document.
Right. I would like to see that be the,
I think that's probably the good thing to do next, is get construction documents ready. Because I think that if those are ready, and we're able to apply for the Land and Water Grant next year.
that's kind of my hope too, go that,
Having those documents ready to go makes it more likely that we might get funded then.
yeah.
So
So I thought we,
They like to see ready projects that are ready to go, so.
right. So that was kind of the way I was thinking too, Jan, that we'd look into doing an RFP to get that done or something, and,
Just the original quote that I had from V3 Engineering, who used to be Lehman, who I worked with on this project, it was like $215,000 to get those kind of documents ready to go.
yeah.
So,
But I think if we did get that grant again, it would make it so much smoother.
I agree.
So, okay. All right. All right, well. Okay,
Do you need more then?
I think we're good for now. I'll holler if we need you.
Jan?
All right, well, let me think about the administrative assistant a little bit here. Anything else in the parks that you guys want to look at? Like I said, I've got a list here. We can pull out quite a bit of the capital improvements from this and move them to the GO bond, I think. I think it'd be a good investment. It's something that community can enjoy without having to pay a price to see the benefits of it.
I wondered after we did the resolutions and the ordinances on Monday's meeting, I wondered what the balance in the GO bond is. Do you know that?
It's actually around 800. We have almost right at half, or just a little over half. If you look on that sheet I gave you, they put that number in there, but it's actually, it's high. There's not that much left. It says there's 1,019,000 in there, and I believe it's about 870,000.
What's it under?
It's on the summary of your budget there.
I'm
It
looking.
should say 2024 bond proceeds.
Okay.
Yeah, that
So it
number
says
should be about,
1,019,000.
that number should be about 870,000.
870?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks.
Let's see. Swimming pool, I don't think there's anything in the swimming pool. Jan, I would make a comment, and I'm going to be more like directed towards payroll. You know, when we have a salary for somebody, it should never go over what the salary for that person was. So that, you know, it was 14 cents and 2 cents, which we did the paperwork to make the adjustments, but that should never happen, and it should be caught by
That
payroll.
wasn't that wasn't me.
Well, that's
That
what-
was the payroll clerk.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to talk to payroll, because you shouldn't have to, the last check should be rounded off to your salary. Yeah. So I don't know how that happened, but,
Yeah, I think it takes a lot, we did several things in the last,
so that's why I was
2
saying,
meetings.
I'll talk to payroll about that. That should never happen, and you shouldn't have to be making a transfer for 2 cents. So I don't think there's anything in the pool. Community development, see anything in there that concerns you? I did find one mistake, I believe, in there, and I think I've already corrected it, but if you look down there where it says longevity, it says 34,500, and that should be, if you've got that on your budget, it should be 3,900.
it should be what, Dave?
3,900 for longevity.
It says 34,500. Okay, so we're going to 3,000 what?
It's 3,900.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to see the building commissioner in his office more instead of running around. But
What's his salary at? That's what I was, oh yeah, I had him, I did say that. He's at
60,996.
60,996. Does he have to, he's a department head, so he doesn't have to do the time clock thing, does he? Okay,
yes, you should.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, we may be here all night if we go through it like this. Do you guys have any huge concerns with any of this? You got anything that jumped out at you? Now's the time we can change it.
I wanted, on the police department, I had a question. I just wanted to make sure that we have $40,000 for crossing guards, and there's 5 of them now.
I have 5 now, Sean. I know we got, a couple of them were eliminated, the one at Columbia and the one at Chase Road.
I'm not quite sure on that number. I'd have to check with Rob.
Yeah, I know we reduced the budget because a couple of them were let go that, because they don't walk to school at Chase Road, and
I was just trying to calculate their, so it'd be, I just wanted to verify if it's $8,000 that they're making a school year. If you could just verify that for me, I'd appreciate it.
it's an hourly rate, but I don't know what it comes out to.
Just want us to tell you if we have any other issues, because I think I'm done. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. Oh, yeah, I couldn't help it. Doesn't matter. It was just it doesn't matter. It was the dispatch. And I know we can't fix that.
How about the 911 fees?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got a bill the other day for the third quarter, and our share was 39,000, so it looks like this year we may come in at a little bit. Last year it was 238,000 for 911, and I think it might come in under that, because I think we're at about 140 or 150,000 right now with 1 quarter to go. But I did kind of talk to you guys and let you know that the new radio system that they're talking about and redoing their whole, the cost is around $800,000.
That's what I had. That was my question, but there's not $800,000 for 2026?
So, Dave Redwick, the council president for the county, has said that they would work out some type of an agreement where we wouldn't have to pay it all up front. So,
Let us know about that. Okay, well, I'm all finished with my asterisks.
we do digress on one thing.
digress all you want, AJ.
What is our new human resource officer making?
I don't know what Tyler hired her in at.
There you
That number in there reflects the most that they could make.
I don't mind doing the Parks girl if she's doing all their work and stuff and this and that. But I think Robin does a lot more work up there and is in the clerk treasurer's office. I think it's
Tyler gave her an increase, right?
Yeah, she's got,
Yeah,
she's gotten a raise.
She got the 3% plus Tyler recommended that she, I mean, I don't remember the exact number right now because, but I was in the budget meeting with him and he recommended that she be brought up,
HR rate.
right, to the HR, right, to the HR rate. And I agree with you, BJ.
All right, Cam, you got anything that you wanted to talk about? Chris? Okay. Show you a couple things that I had. Because like I said, we started out, our budget was way over, which we knew it was going to be more so than not. I got the budget numbers from Baker Tilly that I didn't know Tyler had received previously.
So busy.
I had a couple recommendations up at the top that I thought we could make. Tyler had asked to move his contractual services to 70,000, but I don't think we need to do that. I think we could leave him at 50, and if he's doing the job he should be doing, that's more than enough money. I don't think we had ever spent $50,000.
Actual services that he spends is for getting work done that he could be
So-
doing.
I would my recommendation was to move it back to 50,000 from 70,000.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Other was, we have legal services in our budget every year, and we could reduce those. We have 10,000 in there. I think we could reduce it to 5. We haven't really had to use it, but it never hurts to have a little there. Never know when Kelly might act up. We have to bring in legal counsel.
$5,000 won't get us much, I do want to say that. If you think you really need a lawyer, you better leave it at 10.
I have faith we won't need one. So that's my recommendation, to move that down to 5,000 for next year.
I'm good.
Okay.
Okay. And then here were some things that I thought we could move towards the pilot program next. Well, and I did take out the playground in that.
Right, saw that.
What I thought we could do is the lighting at Spencer Park, we can get a quote from LU on that one for pilot. And the electric at Houston Park, we'll ask them for a quote to do the electric, so if you know what you need done or what you want
I
done.
would say we're buying the electric, the lighting this year, in this year's budget.
Oh, you did go ahead with it?
We're getting, but they're actually on order right now.
Oh, okay, and,
So maybe next year if they would help us put them in, that'd be great.
oh, okay, and that's for
That,
Spencer Park? For Spencer? Okay.
She said they're just like the ones at Houston Park that are easier maintenance.
yeah.
But we can we'll talk to them about doing the installation on that.
Yeah, if we could help with that, that'd be great.
And then also with the Houston Park Electric that you're talking about, if you, I don't know if you have something mapped out already that you want to have done, or,
Kevin, I'm sure Kevin does somewhere, but I haven't seen that, so.
yeah, if he does, and then you could get that in the near future so we can get an estimate from him on it. And then the other one is Jacob, I believe him and Bill Cuppy and Aaron are working, they're working on the North Street corridor from 4th Street to 6th Street. And I believe RDC is going to pay to redo the sidewalks and whatnot. So we were looking at using infrastructure money possibly to fix up that parking lot there. And I thought if we needed new lights in there, we could talk to the utilities about that, see what the quote on that would be. But I've learned that we're going to get itemized quotes up front on these projects before we say yes, so that we understand what the project's going to cost.
Pilot? Yeah, it's a good idea.
Those are the three that I know of that I was going to show to Chris and Haley that are in the the North Street one is in the budget, but it's mainly for the paving and that part of it. And then the GEO bond, as you go down through there, I'll just, you can read them off. We got the project at the dog park with the press box, the acoustics at McHale, picnic tables, backhoe, lawnmower. I didn't know if this was a duplicate or not. I got 2 different snow plows that you wanted, Jan, is that?
But one is the actual snow equipment. One is her snow plow, where they will attach to the 1-ton dump truck.
Oh, okay, and the snow plow equipment one is different?
Actual snow plow equipment.
Okay, so they're different, okay. And a stump grinder, not a grinder, that's a nice typo there. The tables and chairs for McHale, ADA improvements, Bishop Park, sidewalk and fence, will you be getting quotes on that too, Jan?
I don't have.
Well, there's plenty of time, but we'd go that direction. And of course, Eberts Road paving is in there. And the crosswalk at Spencer Park.
Yeah, I'm still having trouble getting people to get me some real information on that, so.
Well, maybe I'm naive here, but isn't that something, since it's a city street, that can't we just do our own, can't we do a crosswalk, Chad?
That's not what we're saying.
It doesn't require highway, because it is a city street. Did you say, High Street, there at Central Park, crosswalk there? Yeah.
Is that something that we can do on our own, or do we have to have like an engineer tell us the exact proper way, or?
There are other areas on my street.
I think we should just start there and see what happens. I mean, can you do that, Chad? Just,
We get some good signage up there and.
yeah.
Have that.
I mean, people do pay attention to slowing down there. They really do. And I think that if,
Yeah, okay.
well, I was thinking, we don't have a flashing light there, do we? We just have like slow down.
20 mile per hour.
20 mile per hour past the
There
hour.
aren't really any slow signs in town, because legally they don't mean anything. What is slow? You can't define it. They're 20.
Yeah, 20 mile an hour past there. Anyways, all of that total came up to, and there's a couple other things that, a truck for the rental inspector, groundskeeping equipment for the cemetery and paving at the cemetery, and all that came up to $763,000 we can pull out. So with all of those taken out, that gave us $1,172,000 out of the general fund, brought our general fund total down to $14,240,886, which still leaves us a negative budget of about $269,429. So I guess my question to you is, we have reserves that we can stop there and be done with it, but I've showed you the other things. If there's concern, then we have to look for other types of cuts. And I've given you some suggestions there. They're not easy suggestions, but they're suggestions.
bigger items on the parks, that's gonna come out of the GEO bond?
Right, yeah.
When does that GEO bond have to be spent by?
We had, I believe it's 2 years. So we've got basically another full year to spend that money.
Are we gonna use most of that though for 26?
He's already showing you that we're using $763,000, and he told us
Probably
we
be
have
about 100,000
870.
left if all of those projects were what they're projected at.
I bet, we still didn't cover, Dean, we still didn't cover your, I don't know what come up about pumps, and how that's getting paid for, or what do you
Well,
need?
we were paying for that this year just out of our regular budget. Now, we have, there's issues in the pump house that we need to address coming up in the future. That will be kind of the project this winter to figure out where we go in that direction with our irrigation. You've heard me for the last 5 years, or 3 years, I, said that our pump house has about 5 years before we have something major go wrong. So we have 3 pumps in our pump station. We had 1 go down. We were lucky it wasn't the pump, it was the electric butterfly valve. Still probably a $3,000 when it all gets said and done to get back up. But in the pump station, it was originally put in 1986. It's seen its lifespan. A new pump station can cost anywhere from $200,000 to $400,000. That's what I've talked about. Potentially going on a well. I'm not sure we're able to do that either. If we did, we could, save ourselves some money that way and help pay for it. But this is just one of the issues we're starting to run into with our irrigation is getting age on it. So that's one of the steps.
How do you guys feel about what we have left here?
I think this is fine. I agree with all of this, but what I want you to know is that you can see that we're not gonna have a lot of money to be spending.
Yeah, I know, I
So,
see that.
you need to- You need to figure out if you think you're gonna be asking for money. I'm not saying, you're not gonna be able to do it now for this budget, right, Dave? Because this is.
Well, if there becomes a need, we still have a little bit of the GEO bond funding left. At least I think we do at this time. Once we get actual, estimates for all these things and crunch the numbers, we'll know for sure. I think that we had, like on Eberts Road, we had an estimate a year and a half ago, and I think the number we put in here sort of magnifies what they.
That includes going up to the clubhouse at Eberts Road, right?
Well, now I don't know that was ever included when he estimated it, so that would be something he'd have to look at and give you a new number for. Because I don't think you're talking about along the carts or the barns there?
Yeah, well, going up to, when we paved the parking lot for the clubhouse, we just went basically to the clubhouse there.
You'd have to ask Jan what she had him quote exactly. I just have Eberts.
He quoted for Eberts Road from the maintenance barn where it's been done up to the maintenance barn and then so all the way back is what that paving is.
So he's talking about back to the pavilion back there.
That's what I've had quoted, yes.
Yeah, so the answer, I guess, is no to what you're asking, Dave.
Yes,
Yeah. So that'd be something, to
That would
look
be
at.
something, and also, we just recently had a 2007 T-mower, which had 3,400 hours on it, still down. I don't know any more than happened last Friday. We're still trying to diagnose, but we're not going to want to put a lot of money into a 20-year-old mower.
Yeah.
That's one of the issues has came up since the budget's or that we put, 200 hours on a year, we have 2 of them, but we weren't expecting,
Yeah.
the issues there, so.
Okay. All
In
right.
a year, trust me.
All right, well, if everybody's good with it the way it is, we'll leave it this way.
I'm
Okay.
good. BJ?
Hey, so we're taking out the crosswalk Spencer Park, 50,000?
It doesn't have to be taken out, just leave it there for now, and if we find out we can do it ourselves for $3,000 or $4,000 or something, then we line it out and move on. But it's just a possibility for the GO bond. So, all right, any of you guys out there, any concerns with your budget itself or been through it? Okay. Well, if everybody's good with that, I think we're all, let me make sure I am not forgetting something on my agenda here. I thought that was all we had, but. Okay. All right. Well, I guess with that, we'll call the Finance Committee meeting to an end. I got time for a nap before the Cubs game. Dean, were you up there yesterday?